I was driving around town the other day and I saw this bumper sticker on a car, the Coexist bumper sticker, and it got me thinking, what does it mean to coexist? To have every religion represented on this the sticker and not represented on the sticker, to exist in a world where everyone's equal, everyone's happy, everyone's tolerant. And it got me thinking of this idea of religious pluralism. And it's the idea that there are multiple truths, that there are multiple paths to ultimate salvation. That people like Muhammad, Socrates, Plato, Confucius, and all these other religious figureheads are all equal with God. Um, and it's confusing because most of these religions and thought processes don't don't believe this idea of coexisting with each other. They all have the idea that my way is the right way, and Christianity is no different. Um, so I want to introduce you to who Jesus is, and and Jesus is the Son of God. We read in um, John 1, it says, "In the beginning, the Word already existed. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He existed in the beginning with God. God created everything through him, and nothing was created except through him. The Word gave life to everything that was created, and his life brought life to everything." And let's skip down to verse 14 of John 1. "So the Word became human and made his home among us. He was full of unfailing love and faithfulness, and we have seen his glory, the glory of the Father's one and only Son." So this idea of Jesus being the Son of God isn't how we as humans see a father-son relationship. I have a son. I have two sons. I have kids. Humanly, we have our children that are our offspring. That's not quite what Jesus and God's relationship is. Jesus is the Son of God in the sense that that he is God made manifest into human form. The next idea of who Jesus is that Jesus is fully God and fully man. The Bible teaches us that Jesus is God by showing us that he has all the attributes of God. He knows everything. He is everywhere. He is all powerful. And he is self-sufficient apart from anything else. And we see this in the scriptures beside that. But we also see that he is fully man. And that Jesus' humanity is displayed in the fact that he was born as a baby to a human mother, Mary. He became exhausted while he was a man. He was hungry. He was thirsty. And he had all the emotions like sorrow and anger and frustration and happiness and joy. He experienced all these human things while he was on earth. He lived a sinless life, and we see that in 1 Peter chapter 2, where it says, verse 21, "For God called you to do good, even if that means suffering, just as Christ suffered for you. He is your example, and you must follow his steps." Verse 22, "He never sinned, nor deceived anyone. He did not retaliate when he was insulted, nor threaten revenge when he suffered. He left his case in the hands of God, who always judges fairly." We also see that Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. And in Romans 5:8, we all know this verse very well. It says, let me get to it right quick. "But God showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. And the great part about what we believe is that, yes, he was our sacrifice, but even more than that, he's alive. And our God is alive. In Luke 24:5, we read the story about the angels telling the women at the empty tomb that what you seek in this place of dead, in the grave, is no longer here because he is alive. And that's what makes Jesus who he is, and that's a big part of why he is separate. And that goes to this next idea that Jesus is unique, and we believe that as we look at these other religions, at Muhammad and Confucius, as we talked about earlier. What makes him unique from those is everything I just mentioned, with the idea that he lived a sinless life, he was a sacrifice, and now he's alive. These other guys can't say that. And because of that, that separates Jesus from these other religious figureheads. So that this idea of coexisting, of everything being the same, of religious pluralism, that there's more than one way, one truth. From what I believe as a Christian, as someone who believes in the authority of the Bible, it just can't happen. It can't be. We can't coexist. Jesus will not coexist.